Superficial scribblings on sexism. Superficial scribblings on life. Who the fuck needs criticism when I can always be right? Here we are on episode number 10, just in time for the fucking holidays. For all you little boys and girls out there, oops, sorry that included boys, because I'm a white male rape apologist. So we're at it once again to criticize yet another fucking article, trying to tell you how shit is sexist and that you should listen to that person because they're always more right about everything than you are. It's so lovely when people have to contradict themselves. So in my overwhelming capacity to try to scroll through the dread of these feminist articles, I come across one called An Open Letter to White Male Comedians. Great. I am assuming that this is probably going to have something to do with that whole Suey Park incident, too. By Lindy West, who looks like a pretty fucking rote feminist. Let's listen up, bro, as the thumbnail image suggests. Hey guys, listen. I know you're mad at me. I wonder why. I mean, maybe not me specifically, but a figurative me. What? The type of woman who thinks she's funny, who thinks she understands comedy, who has opinions and shares them about what kinds of jokes comics should or should not tell. Well, there's the first problem right there, because comedy should never have any limits, because all comedy is supposed to tackle all kinds of forms. Some people do certain aspects of comedy less often than others, but I think comedy, kind of like free speech, should be kind of just open for anyone to do. But yeah, I can already see the problem with why people don't think that you're funny is because you don't seem to understand what comedy is. Let's keep going. I speak up for women, which sometimes involves criticizing men. I don't believe that rape jokes should be a completely unregulated market, even though you were just saying, oh, what kind of jokes comics? You mean comedians, right? Because comics are different. Should or should not tell. And I understand that, to you, criticizing a comedian's execution on certain subject matters can seem indistinguishable from censorship and conservatism, so I know you're mad at me and I know why. Yeah, because we live in a capitalist, free market society, and you fucking Tumblr feminists want to pretty much change that to social Marxism. You don't think that, but that's essentially what you're going for. But comedy has a serious gender problem. Oh, of course it does. What other, you can pretty much ad-lib this shit from now on. Like, if, playing tennis has a serious gender problem, or doing skeet ball has a serious gender problem. Playing at the arcades has a serious gender problem. Any fucking thing that you can do, they will say there's some kind of gender problem with it. And I really can't stop complaining about it until it's fucking fixed. Well, complaining about it isn't going to get it fixed, you little bitch. Comedy clubs are an overtly hostile space for women. Fucking damn it. This is why comedy is open, because it offends everyone. If it offends more women in the club, it offends more women. But it's not a direct attack on them, because another thing to note is that jokes aren't supposed to be taken seriously. So when you get all fucking hussy-fussy at a comedy club about a rape joke, yeah, I can see why people hate you, because you get fucking bitchy and whiny about it. Fucking Christ. But it's a hostile space for anyone with the kind of jokes that are relegated. If there was a male rape victim at a comedy club and somebody made a rape joke, yeah, that's going to be kind of hostile to them. But you don't see them going on a fucking Tumblr feed or something like that and spewing shit like, oh, fucking comedy clubs are an overtly hostile space for rape victims. Even just presuming we can talk about comedy gets women ripped to shreds by territorial dudes desperate to defend their authority over what's funny. Well, I'm sorry that people can have taste in jokes. I'm sorry about that. If these women just happen not to have a good taste in jokes to these men that you are obliquely representing, fuck it. It's alright for them to do that. It's all subjective for the most part. I don't fucking find it funny, whatever. Jokes about rape and gender violence are treated like an inevitability instead of a choice. Well, you're never going to stop it. You can reduce it as much as you want. I mean, technically, I could just say murder. Jokes about murder are treated like an inevitability instead of a choice. I mean, everything is technically a choice. Like, they're beyond questioning. Like, they're somehow equally sacred alongside women's actual humanity and physical sanctity? What the fuck? When women complain, however civilly, they're met with condescension, dismissal, and the tacit or often explicit message that this is not yours, you are not welcome here. It's fucked up, you guys. And I'm saying that as a friend with the best intentions. How can you even complain civilly for the matter of that? What is it that these fucking women are complaining about? I mean, you have fucking links, but I doubt they have anything to do with anything. Oh, no, it's just another fucking goddamn... It's just another fucking article. Oh, it has Patton Oswalt. Great. We're gonna have to read that sometime. But if these women are complaining about fucking rape jokes, like as if these people are being serious about the statements, yeah, they're going to be met with condescension. And people fucking facepalming because, you know, these particular women, not all women, but these particular women are getting so fucking butthurt. Like that one particular woman who went on a Twitter rampage, or Tumblr rampage, about the Tosh Boy No Comedy Club and how that joke offended her and how he kind of backtracked because, you know, you're not supposed to say, oh, that offends me, that's not funny. Comedy has always been my go-to art form. It's been more valuable to me in terms of emotional solace than film or music, and it's certainly on par with literature, okay? I know a lot of you can relate to that feeling. That doesn't mean I have the same perspective as, say, a Hard Road comic. You mean comedian, because a comic is different from a comedian. I would think that if you have such a fucking connection to this, you would know the difference. But I get paid to perform on stages in various contexts all the time. I've done stand-up in a brightly lit pizzeria at 6 p.m. in front of 4 people who were not informed that there would be comedy. Try it, it's great. I've written a weekly comedy column in the newspaper. Most of my friends are comics. Comedians! Many of them are white males. My boyfriend is a comic. Comedian! But I get that there's no amount of experience that could give me cred with every single one of you, and anyway, these goalposts are easy to move. Even if I were a full-time comedian, I'm not even going to say comic anymore. It's getting so fucking stupid how she keeps saying comic that I'm just going to replace it with comedian. You could always say I wasn't good enough for my opinion to matter. What? So when you're making jokes on stage, you're taking it as actual fucking opinion, right? That's what you're saying, because like you're saying, oh, that you could always say that my opinion wasn't good enough, or I wasn't good enough for your opinion to matter. Well, you can't be really good enough at all if the jokes that you're making aren't even supposed to be taken seriously. If I say, oh, how many cops does it take to screw in a light bulb? None. They just beat the room for being black. Yeah. How is my opinion going to matter? Because it's not a fucking opinion. It's a fucking joke. Hey. Plus, it's no secret that plenty of people don't think female comedians count as comedians at all. Because people just so happen to have subjective opinions about what is fucking funny or not. What if fucking disaster movie and epic movie just had all fucking female players? You know, all the same stupid fucking sight gags, fart jokes, you know, fucking prepubescent humor, and using references on an overload as if that's somehow funny, without having any more depth to, you know, the thing they're trying to refer to. So fuck it, whatever. What I'm saying here is that I'm not a fucking tourist. What? I'm not a bachelorette party. What? And if you're not performing for people like me, discerning life on comedy fans, and I don't know why you're doing comedy at all. Oh, so you're going to do that, huh? You're going to do that whole, well, if you're doing comedy to a bunch of people, most of whom you don't even know who's coming, and it offends me, you shouldn't be doing fucking comedy. Yeah, that's a fucking adult thing to state. Wow. Just, how about if you're going to get so fucking, you know, get in such a bitch fit over something as somebody saying a joke, then you should get the fuck out of the fucking comedy club. You shouldn't be doing comedy at all if it offends you so much. More importantly, though, I have more experience doing comedy than you have being a woman. Bull fucking shit. Bullshit. Bullshit if you do. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm a better comedian than you, but your statement about to all other white male comedians, yeah, that just seems absolutely fucking pretentious. Not to mention how you're trying to say how comedy is supposed to bring in a broader message, and because you believe that whenever a male comedian makes a fucking joke, you think that's their fucking statement, that they believe that shit. So, obviously, you do not have a lot of experience with comedy. And I want to try and convey to you broadly how you are hurting women. Oh no! What would we do without the poor women getting hurt by fucking jokes? Oh! If they only had 10,000 more fucking shoulders to cry on. If we only censored jokes so that we don't get people offended. Because offended is a bad thing. It hurts people. And hurting your own art form, yeah. I think the only way that a comedian would be hurting their art form is that they have to deliberately restrict what they want to make fun of because of fucking completely sensitive pricks like you, and how easy it would be to stop. Because right now you're coming across like a bunch of entitled babies terrified of a few girls in your clubhouse. No, I think they're terrified of a bunch of whiny, narcissistic, self-entitled bitches like you. I don't think it has anything to do with sexism at all, with the whole comedy clubhouse. Because everyone who comes to the comedy clubhouse should understand what comedy is. If they're going to be offended by the jokes presented by somebody, then they should just get the fuck out, okay? They shouldn't fucking complain about it because they know what they're going to get themselves into. There's no fucking reason to complain at a comedy club when all the jokes are supposed to be facetious, as in not serious. Demanding that women be thick-skinned about their own rape. Wow. Absolute double fucking facepalm on this statement. Demanding that women be thick-skinned about their own rape so you're too thin-skinned to handle even mild criticism is embarrassing. No. No, no, no. When people make jokes about rape, they're not trying to fucking trivialize your own personal rapes. Okay? In any regard, or kind of, I guess, make you more comfortable about it, or just understand. I mean, you know, fucking comedy has kind of a darker side. It's kind of, they're making these jokes to deal with all these fucking negative things that are going on. How about you stop being so thin-skinned to handle just fucking jokes, or taking jokes way too seriously? Listen, being a woman is a bitch. Oh, I would know. Because being a woman is like being a bitch, too. Not only does everyone treat you like a fucking idiot all of the time, pulling up straws, not everyone thinks that women are idiots. I think you're a fucking idiot, but that does not mean I think all women are idiots. Being a woman can be scary! Woo! Scary, like fucking hide under the covers boogeyman scary, I assume. Not scary in a big, obvious, goofy way. Well, who knows? It's less like a horrible slavering dog running toward your face, except for when it is like that. More like when you can't find that huge spider you saw in your bed earlier. The spiders also had the capacity to transform to slavering face-hungry dogs. We're not walking around. If these are your fucking jokes, then yeah, I can see why people are saying that you're not funny. And that you're offended because you think that they're saying that because you're a woman and not because you're simply just not a fucking comedian, you know? We're not walking around actively terrified in the middle of the afternoon, but there's always a small awareness that we are vulnerable simply because we are women. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, woe is you! Cavalier jokes about domestic violence and rape, jokes that target victims, not perpetrators. They don't fucking target anybody because they're not fucking serious. That's why people are saying that you're fucking condescend or, you know, are dismissing your fucking points. Because you're coming onto a fucking comedy club trying to talk about your points about rape and shit. If you want a little bit of humor, okay, but you're not doing a comedy sketch here. You're having an impromptu speech about rape and domestic violence and some fucking jokes here and there about something else. You know, to try to clear the air a bit. But you're not fucking here for a comedy club. Jesus Christ. Feed that are feeling unsafe and unwelcome. It's just that they just don't feel very comfortable, but I would see why. Since you think fucking jokes are serious, like this fucking comedian on stage is actually going to rape the people who were raped on the stage, who watched the fucking show. Not just in the comedy club, but in the world. Oh, yes. Oh, great. We have one of those fucking blowing that ideological balloon to fucking global's perspective. Women are 50% of the population, but when it comes to our interests and grievances, we're treated like a niche group. I have to explain that I would think that the niche group would be more in the Middle Eastern, Indian, Chinese, African side, but since you seem to fail to understand that in our Western world society, women have the rights they need, I can see why you would think that you're all just a bunch of second-class citizens. Think about how crazy that is. Yeah, how crazy that would be if that was actually fucking true. But since it isn't, I don't think that's crazy because it's not even fucking real. You don't know what it feels like to be a part of a group that has never gone to be the president. Oh, if we had a female fucking president, right? Like, that's somehow indicative of sexist culture, right? Just because we didn't have a female president? I mean, it doesn't matter if that female president ever, you know, her actions or anything that she did actually brought America to success. It's just the principle of having one is what bothers you, not about their actions. Who the fuck is trivializing women here, huh? God. You don't know what it feels like to get up to do your set and here's your obligatory girl comedian for the night. Who the fucking says that? Who the fucking says that at a comedy club night? You might not relate to any of that, but you can perceive why it's bad, right? No. How it puts damaging limits on women's lives? No, I can't, because it's fucking ludicrous. Ludicrous? He's not here. Probably should have brought in a featurette with Ludacris, like, move, get out the way, or I don't think that's actually Ludacris, but whatever. That's hard to live with, but it's especially hard in italics. What a fucking bitch. As a comedy fan and a woman who writes jokes for a living, to watch that paradigm being perpetuated by people you look up to as bastions of sanity on pretty much every other social issue. It sucks to hear your heroes telling you to sit down and know your place. Molly Neffel has an impeccable piece in Salon today about the disparity between male comedians' reactions to rape and their reactions to other types of violence. Reactions? I think the comedians are the ones who act, and the audience is the one who reacts. So it's more indicative of the audience's reactions to rape. So when you fucking say, oh, that's fucking offensive, that offends me, yeah, people are going to condescend you for that because it wasn't supposed to be taken seriously in the first fucking place. Yes, some jokes are just not simply fucking funny to some people, okay? But that's pretty much as far as the line goes, because whether or not you found the joke funny or not, it wasn't a serious fucking statement about anything. So let's read this stupid ass fucking quote. As eloquent as Oswald's message about Boston was, it is not particularly challenging to side with the victims of a horrible act of violence committed against civilians. Americans are united in their desire to condemn such atrocities. Many comedians, including Oswald, also condemned the Aurora Theater shooting and made an explicit point not to joke about it. None of this is to compare these different types of violence, but to offer an observation of types of violence that are universally condemned as opposed to culturally sanctioned. The consensus formed by the majority male comedy population is that sexual violence is not just okay to joke about, but joke about extraordinary frequency and viciousness, where the targets of the jokes are the victims, not the perpetrators. I'm assuming that's that previous fucking link that she had, but I'm going to have to go on to that later. This is all a bunch of big $10 wording here, so we're going to skip that part. Neffel, of course, is currently being lambasted by aggrieved male comedians. So aggrieved, you guys. Always so aggrieved. But why? What did she really say that's so outrageous? I don't know. Probably because even though she said the consensus form of the majority male comedy is that sexual violence is not just okay to joke about, but joke about with extraordinary frequency and viciousness. Weird fucking dichotomy there. That the often silenced victims of sexual assault and domestic violence. I'm assuming you mean men and women, right? Which includes men and boys. Oh, no, just the men and boys, right? Yeah, fucking fucker. By the way, deserves as much respect and care as the victims of gun violence? If basic compassion is such anathema to you, but only when it comes to women's issues, if you're not determined to go down with a good ship rape, what? Then you have issues with women. Oh, of course I do. And that's not women's fault, it's yours. If you just don't care, that's fine. That's your choice. But I understand this. I know you think you're being transgressive and edgy and bad in the Kool-Aid when you are careless with the trauma of strangers. But you're not. How are they being fucking edgy? If they want to joke about rape, they can fucking do that. How the fuck can the comedian care about like 10 or 20,000 different fucking people who are watching their comedy show? At least one person's going to get offended about some joke. You know, Gabriel Iglesias goes on his sketch about, his personal experiences with certain cops. And there's a cop that happens to be on stage who says, I'm very offended. I think I'm going to arrest him no matter how funny his fucking jokes are. It's absolutely impossible to go on a comedy sketch and try to filter your comedy for thousands upon thousands of fucking people who come in to hear jokes, to, laugh, to have a good time, not, talk about fucking serious political statements. If you want to do that, go on fucking CNN, go on fucking MSNBC, go on Fox News, but don't go to a fucking comedy sketch and expect people to treat that seriously, because they aren't. But you're not. You're being conservative. Of course they are. You think that, being conservative about your jokes, you would actually try to filter them, right? You are a conservative comedian. You are a conservative white male comedian, and obviously you're fucking garbage. Oh no! You are moving your art form backwards. You are a bully. Yes! Yes! Of course they are. Because even though all of their jokes could offend anyone, the specific jokes about rape is somehow bully tactics, right? And you are propping up the status quo in the most boring way possible. Apparently comedy is boring. If that's what you want, at least have the grace to own it. Well, they're not gonna own it because it's not fucking true, you fucking bitch. Comedy and social responsibility are not mutually exclusive. They are mutually exclusive. Comedy and empathy are not enemies. Well, they're not enemies. They're not even enemies. They're just whatever. And no subject matters or words are off limits in the abstract. Though, as I've written before, I'm pretty sure that there are literally hundreds of things to joke about that don't involve the violent invasion of my vagina. I'm sure of it. Tell me about it. You have these hundreds of things to joke about that don't involve the violent invasion of your vagina, right? You do not have to stop talking about rape. They don't have to stop joking about rape either. But since they're not talking about rape in their own fucking serious opinion, we can detest that whatever they're saying is not fucking true or serious. I've made my feelings clear on that matter and won't be wasting much time on specifics here. Blah, 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 blah. You do not have to stop talking about your bitchy ex-girlfriend. You do not have to stop talking about race or class or midgets or whatever the fuck you think is worth talking about. Although I am going to complain about it a lot, such as in this fucking article. But you do have to live with the consequences of what you say, even though all the things that they say is not fucking true or serious, and how your words color people's perceptions of what kind of human being you are. See? Right there. That's why people say you're not a fucking comedian, because you don't understand jokes. You don't. You think that when somebody makes a joke, they're being genuine about it, that they genuinely believe that bullshit, that they're right on the fucking fence about that joke. Right there. That's why people condescend you. Not because you're a female, but because you think you're a fucking comedian when you get so fucking butthurt over what somebody makes a joke about because you think they're being so fucking serious. Okay? If you do nothing but shower your audiences with hate and garbage, they're going to start thinking of you as a hate and garbage machine. Oh no, what will the comedians ever do? Should it be on you and be like, oh, why are all these people getting mad at me? I thought, all of my serious notions about rape and whatnot would have gone through to people. Ooh, hoo, hoo. So sorry for you. To paraphrase white male comedian Derek Sheen, who was kind enough to let me pick his white male brain in the course of writing this argument. Big ups also to Guy Branham. So he turned on his white male brain. Instead of just his brain. You are more than welcome to style yourself the bloody shit-covered G.G. Allen of comedy. But when people get mad at you for smearing feces on them, what, literally? You don't get to feign outrage at those people because feces is disgusting. Are you seriously trying to sit there and tell me that feces isn't disgusting? It's feces. Tell me, did he literally do this, or was he figuratively saying that? Because if he was figuratively saying that, like a comedian would do, yeah, it is fucking disgusting. But it's not supposed to be taken seriously. Is this guy literally going to fucking throw feces at somebody? Or rub fucking smearing feces on them? Really? Whatever. Now, you can talk about controversial subjects. They can, but remember that it's a joke, okay? Remember that it's a joke. Remember that, okay? Remember that. Because if you don't, then you're going to look like an idiot. In fact, you should talk about controversial subjects. And you just made yourself look like an idiot. Damn it. Fuck. I thought you might have listened. Because comedy is an incredibly powerful, subversive tool, but if you want people like me to stop bitching at you, a dream we share, I promise, you need to stop using your commodity to make those things worse. Yes, of course. When Gabriel Iglesias talks about how he can pretty much trick cop, or, keep getting, avoid tickets from cops if he has a funny enough joke. Oh, he's making the problem worse. People are going to start making funny jokes to cops so they can avoid tickets. Oh, no! We live in a fucking society of that. We gotta stop that. Oh, no. Ooh! Yeah. You don't have to make things better. I would think that people getting generally, excited and laughing their fucking lungs out and having, a good time is making the world a better place. You are under no obligation to save the world, but if you're actively making things worse for people, especially when you're not a member of the group whose existence you are worsening, don't be surprised when people complain. Here he comes with a privilege card. If you haven't been sexually harassed or raped, you don't deserve to talk about that particular subject. So since I am not female and do not have tits or vagina, I cannot make jokes about the vagina or tits. Since I am not a pedophile, I cannot make pedophile jokes. You know what's the best thing about 23-year-olds? There's 20 of them. Oh, privilege. I'm not a pedophile, thus I can't talk about that. Ooh, I'm, insulting them pedophiles. Woo! If you're an able-bodied straight white male, great. She brought in the ableism card from Tumblr too. You are by definition a member of the least number of systematically oppressed groups. And because of that, they should be completely fucking oppressed. Because fight fire with fire, right? Because, reverse racism is a justification for previous racism. Or, in this case, reverse oppression is justification for previous oppression. It takes an entire blog post for me to make you feel diminished and misunderstood. Yeah, you are diminishing them and misunderstanding them. But you could do that to me, or a gay person, or a trans person, or a person of color, or a disabled person with just a word. Yeah, and quoting again from Rumor Has It, just 'cause I said it, don't mean that I meant it. Because you get to live your life on the firm ground of being a human being first and a man, white person, comedian second. I don't get to do that. No, you do get to do that. Actually, I'm not a person, I'm a woman, which is something I'm reminded of incessantly anytime I enter a male-dominated space like a comedy club. Yes, and because these spaces are male-dominated, that they're obviously oppressing you, right? Because, like, in government, there's less women in the politics, so obviously it's male-dominated, which means it automatically oppresses women. It doesn't occur to you that maybe they're dominated because women don't like to go into politics or do comedy clubs, maybe? Oh, we can't say that because that's also fucking oppression. You're just saying that women don't like jokes. Well, who knows? Maybe they don't. Maybe that's why they don't go to comedy clubs. If people like fucking you think that people make jokes to have some kind of, political debate about something, that's fucking stupid. Having had approximately 1 million conversations like this before, I'm pretty sure I'm familiar with all the things you have to say to me in response. For a case studying how these dialogues nearly invariably play out, this is a must-read. Sadie Doyle's measured, impassioned, well-researched plea about rape jokes and comedian Sam Morrill's prototypical response. Yes, because since Sam Morrill is a man, he makes a prototypical response, and because Sadie Doyle is a woman, her plea about rape jokes is measured, impassioned, and well-researched. Isn't that a little bit biased, maybe? So just to save time, let's go through them one by one. But members of X group make jokes about XYZ subject too. Whoa, that's a subject I make. Sure they do. Some women make smart, constructive jokes about rape culture on stage. That's great. Some women make lazy, shitty, harmful rape jokes on stage. That's less great. Some women also marry Donald Trump, but that doesn't make marrying Donald Trump a great plan for women. And regardless, surely you're caught up on how context and reclamation work. Context only adds more details to the subject matter of your joke. It does not invariably show if somebody is being serious, genuine, or facetious about it, because at the end of the day, it's a fucking joke. So I doubt extra context could possibly clarify some things to you. A person making fun of issues within their own cultural group, issues that they intimately and versatily understand or are affected by, is not the same as you making fun of cultural group in whose oppression your cultural group is complicit. Cultural appropriation, everybody. Another fucking Tumblr verb. I haven't heard siscum yet, but considering how often she's used the male term, I'm pretty sure she's getting pretty tired of it. Basically, be careful when you're handling other people's valuables. Yes. So if I make an Asian joke, I'm culturally appropriating it. That only Asians can make Asian jokes. Well, in that case, then the Asians can only make Asian jokes. They can't make jokes about us. They can't make jokes about Americans. They can only make jokes about their particular country. And that's not how fucking jokes work. Everyone will get offended. Everyone should get offended. It's kind of like a fucking turret indiscriminately firing at everyone. Everyone's going to get hit by it. It's not this fucking personal attack specifically on a certain subject. But comedy is trial and error. I need the same time to perfect my act. It's a process. It's how comedy works, sure, but here's the thing. I write jokes every day. Every day I write a bunch of jokes about very serious subjects that you take very seriously, which is why people don't see you as a fucking comedian. As quickly as I can, blogs move fast. And then 2 minutes later, they go up on the internet where millions of people read them and don't find them funny. I don't have the luxury of workshopping a joke for months. So don't tell me that it's impossible for you to discern in advance that will be generally harmful and what won't. If they want to make a joke about rape, they can. Fuck you if you get fucking offended by it. If somebody doesn't want to make a joke about it, fine. I'm not going to expect them to make a joke about it. Because, because if they did try, if they were forced to try to make a rape joke and it wasn't very funny, then I'd be like, no, you shouldn't try to, marginalize your fucking jokes just for the sake of, attacking all kinds of genres. You should joke about what you want to fucking joke about. If you actually give a shit, you can take the time to craft something that doesn't show, exploit, and marginalize people under the bus for a cheap laugh. So I guess you don't want comedy to be fun. Just like fucking indie game journos don't want video games to be fun. Great for you. Great for you. We all make mistakes. I'm not angry at you for your mistakes. I've written plenty of things I regret, and we all say unthinking, clumsy things in off-the-cuff moments. Well, it's not that everything you say is unthinking and clumsy. It seems like everything that you say is just not funny. But part of being a human being who's committed to craft novelty and the evolution of ideas is owning your mistakes. If you begin hearing from a lot of people that a joke is hurtful or regressive beyond just, I don't like that joke, especially if they are all members of a group whose experience you do not share, how is it to just listen? If you're really committed to workshopping your shit, you owe it to yourself to hear them, assess your responsibility, and have enough humility to accept that you might be wrong. Might be wrong about what exactly? Because, as I said before, jokes aren't made to be about statements about anything. Are they wrong to make a fucking joke that may offend people? Or maybe just not only just not funny, but maybe a little bit hurtful? So what? Clearly those people weren't there to just laugh at themselves for a bit. I can fucking laugh at myself. Because I'm not a fucking whiny little narcissistic little cunt who gets offended by anything that's directed at me and say, oh, fucking cultural appropriation. I can only make jokes about myself or things about myself. You can't. That's not fair. Wah, 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 boo, woo, hoo. But it's just a joke. Calm down. Yeah, dude, but this shit isn't magic. It's not a game. It's not like you get to declare the comedy stage base and the rest of the world hot lava. Spewing from the vaginas of feminazi gargoyles, I'm sure. Yes, you are. And everything you say on the stage exists in some sacred loophole that's exempt from criticism and the expectation of hard work. The only criticism and expectation of hard work that any comedian should expect on a comedy sketch is how funny the fucking joke is. They should not expect people like you to say, oh, that offends me. Make your joke more G-rated. Because they're not going to fucking listen to you because jokes are supposed to be funny. And that all jokes are supposed to be absurd and sometimes offensive. But they're offensive to everybody. It's not, like I said, jokes are not cannot be used specifically to target a particular group. Unless that person just wants to talk about that subject exclusively from everything else. Rape, domestic violence, brutalization, marginalization, the struggle to make yourself heard. All this shit is real to a lot of people. Oh, such as murder, colored people. That's real too. Should we not joke about that? Bananas, my cup, this. We shouldn't talk about that, right? Because that's real. Fucking hell, man. They're not cute little thought experiments for you to mess around with without pushback. The only pushback that any comedian should get is whether or not they're fucking funny. Okay? Because they're not trying to make some kind of statement, okay? They're not on, like, the fucking Daily Report, writing articles like this bullshit. Because, I'm taking everything that you say seriously. I'm not pretending that you're just being silly and facetious. It's like as if, you read an article from The Onion about something about rape and you got in like, oh my god, that's so offensive that all this is real to a lot of people. You don't know who you're fucking, demonizing and ostracizing. You can lie to yourself all you want, but if you say something awful to somebody in the course of your regular day, is that exactly the same as if you say it on stage? No, it fucking isn't. If I say to somebody that I don't even know that they're a fucking cunt, yeah, I can see how that would be awful to somebody. But if I say it on stage and people know that I'm here to make jokes and say you're all a bunch of cunts, yeah, I can see there is a difference because I'm not being serious at all. Especially if on a regular basis I said that to somebody I know and that we're like friends or something like that, and they know I'm being, I'm not being serious at all. If anything, its emotional impact is magnified. Oh, yes, because on stage is magnified because there's more fucking bitchy, whiny twats like you to complain about it. And anyway, anyone who says, but it's just a joke has never had their life profoundly changed by a joke. But Louis C.K., ugh, this part is so boring. Okay, do you know what else Louis C.K. does? He changes. He evolves. He thinks. And when he fucks up, he gets criticized like crazy. And some of that criticism makes it into his brain and eventually his act. Also, just because one of comedy's sacred god kings manages to be funny and smart when broaching certain sensitive topics doesn't mean they can't also be harmful. Thomas Jefferson owned slaves, etc. Just because Jeffrey Ross can debatably pull off a ha-ha faggot once in a while doesn't mean that identical ha-ha faggots aren't actively moving gay kids to kill themselves all over the fucking country. It's real and it deserves critical thought, not knee-jerk defensiveness. Also, you're not Louis C.K. Maybe don't invite the comparison. If gay kids are going to kill themselves or somebody's saying haha faggot, well, like I said, stop being a bunch, practically stop being a bunch of faggots. I mean, I don't like to use that word personally, since it's not really the right term to say it, since I've been calling you a bunch of whiny little tear jerkers for the most part, since that is valid. But comedy is subjective. Lots of people do laugh, and lots of people do get offended. So, people are terrible. At least, like, half of people are terrible. Oh, yes! Now you're going to blame the audience now? Because even though the audience laughing at these rape jokes know that it's not fucking serious, oh, they're fucking terrible people. And beyond that, people laugh for all kinds of reasons. People laugh to cover up the fact that they don't get a joke. People laugh at shock value buzzwords like rape and midget, and people laugh to fill silence if the night turns awkward. If that's enough for you, cobbling together your validation from whatever misguided laughs you can drag out of your audience, then I question your commitment to this art form. Don't you want to make something that comes from inside of you that's a creation rather than just a reflection? If you really think comedy is entirely subjective, then there's no such thing as a bad room. Anytime you don't get a laugh is 100% on you. Enjoy that if that's what you want. Well then, you have pretty much validated this entire bullshit fucking article. Because in that case, then it's 100% on you if you didn't get the fucking joke. Or that you're going to get offended by the joke. Stop being so sensitive. You don't like it, don't listen. Nope, I have as much of a right to be here as you do, and I will not be elbowed out of this space anymore without complaint. I also have a right to go out and do my job. Sometimes my job takes place inside a comedy club or theater without being reminded that I'm just a bag of disposable fuckholes taking up space that isn't mine. Nope. You said it, not them. So you only have yourself to believe that everyone sees you as that. Just like I blame myself for believing that all girls just see me as a fucking complete and utter fucking pervert. Which is why it's hard for me to even, even encroach upon them about anything. Women are already excluded from this boys' club. Telling us to get the fuck out if we don't like being excluded is the opposite of a solution. I also have the right to complain about odious shit that marginalizes human beings I care about. Nope. And I have the right, and the comedian has the right to say that, make a joke about, oh, I bet this woman got raped by like 5 guys. Because, you're complaining pointlessly about something that should not be taken seriously. Because if you're not at a comedy club to at least try to enjoy the jokes, or that if you don't like it or don't get it, then, you can at least quietly and dismissively take it out back about it, then, yeah, go fuck yourself. Because you're not at... You are not entitled to say that a fucking comedian needs to fucking filter his comedy because it may offend you, or that you have the right to complain about it right in the middle of the fucking comedy club. So here we go, more of these points. We're finally at the last one. Sorry, I thought this video might be a little bit shorter. Stop silencing me, please. You are not being silenced. There is no thought police. Bullshit. You are saying that it's not right to fucking make jokes about rape. Or that anyone who makes jokes about rape is trying to make some kind of fucking statement that supposedly trivializes people of rape who have been raped. Your freedom of speech is firmly intact. Sure it fucking is. Because if my freedom of speech entails making jokes about anything, then you gaining fucking bitch in a bitch fit and saying that we shouldn't make jokes about rape is a tacit fucking implication that you don't want freedom of speech. You are a member of the single most powerful political bloc on earth. Your voices and your perspective saturate nearly all of media. I'm assuming that you mean men, but if you mean people, then there is no some such thing as some kind of fucking patriarchal or patriarchal society, then you are fine. Or the fact that, it's not just fucking white male comedians who are saying that you're fucking full of shit, or that you're not funny, or that you're not a comedian. We are just having a conversation about your art, and your art is what you care about the most, right? Right? Yeah, and if my art involves talking about rape jokes and that a lot of people find funny, then I must be doing my job right. So what for the fucking people who get offended? Fuck them. Fuck them, because they're not there to have a laugh. Obviously. They're just there to criticize my points like as if I'm being serious about it. I know I just wrote 8 trillion fucking words about it, hyperbole, but really this whole mess is simple. You get to choose what kind of a person you want to be. Yeah, of course. And that my jokes do not coincide with that person that I am, I mean, if anything, the jokes kind of coincide that I want to be a funny person. Do you want to cause pain or release tension? Well, I would prefer to release tension. I'm assuming that you think that comedy is somehow either or, even though it's pretty much just release tension for the most part. Do you want to be careful or careless? Do you want to confront hard things or take easy outs? If I want to confront hard things, I will do so outside the context of comedy. Do you want to connect with other human beings about the shared horrors of the world outside of comedy? Or do you want to feed into culture that perpetuates these horrors? You can do whatever you want, but you can't stop me and everyone else who hears you from telling you when you're full of shit, comedy isn't yours, it's ours. Oh, it's yours, a fucking feminist. So, before I decide to end this particular episode, we're going to read some more comments like the last time. Well, it seems most of them kind of agree with her points. Well, anyhow, I guess there isn't really any defensible comments here about the matter that may agree with my points. They're all kind of cited on there. So, to conclude, comedy should not be taken seriously. And if you do, yes, you're going to be condescended as somebody who doesn't know what fucking comedy is, who gets offended by comedy when you're at a comedy club. Because if you're going to a comedy club, expect to find jokes that may offend you. But it is not a personal or deliberate attack on you. Because all comedy deliberately attacks all people and will offend all people, whether you want to or not. And that the solution is not to fucking filter it because some people are going to complain about how your jokes are offensive, blah, 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 blah. That's not a fucking criticism of comedy at all. So, I gotta end this. It's like fucking 2:30 in the morning. I just don't feel like sleeping. Might be an insomniac. So anyhow, I bid you guys adieu until the next fucking episode, which may come out next year. Which is like fucking 5 days away.